I always try to put myself in the shoes of the player, as in like, what do I want to experience? And therefore, I hope, and so far it seems that it's working, other people would enjoy it.
Hello and welcome back to Crush and Tell, the series that lifts the lid on the magic of Candy Crush Saga by introducing you to the folks who make it all happen. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Today, I am joined by Mick. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the show. Tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what you do with Candy Crush Saga.
My name is Mick, and I'm a game designer. I've been working at Candy Crush for 6 years now. And actually, I started as a level designer. We work on different type of projects to create amazing new fun experiences for our players, whether that's either something new, completely a new feature, or improving existing features and events that we run through our game.
Can you tell us in the simplest terms what game design involves and what it means to both the game and the people who play it?
In my opinion, game design is about making fun experiences. So within Candy Crush, I see it as my responsibility, or one of my main responsibilities, to be the gatekeeper of fun. So what is it that players are going to experience? What is it that makes it fun? Because at the end of the day, you're playing a game or an experience that you're doing for fun. And like I said, I think fun is not a fixed formula. It's much rather, in candy terms, it's a spectrum of flavors. So some players are very competitive and they want this spicy challenge, where others are more relaxed players and they want this sweet relaxation. Essentially, you're the cook trying to figure out which flavors to use, but to make sure that for each different type of player, there is a flavor to enjoy there.
When it comes to designing a new feature, what are you thinking about from the very start of the design process? And then what are you trying to deliver ultimately for the players?
So one of the key starting points that I often use is what we call the player fantasy. So what is it that we want players to experience? And as a huge gamer myself, anything from board games, video games, card games, I always try to put myself in the shoes of the player, as in like, what do I want to experience? And therefore, I hope, and so far it seems that it's working, other people would enjoy. So as an example, let's say we heard feedback from the community, as in like, hey, this is cool, I wish there would be something more competitive or maybe something social. So of course, we figure out what we want to build first. And then what would that entail? Let's say we would go with a competitive feature. Who am I competing against? Am I competing against the game? Am I competing against other players? Will there be teams? There's a lot of questions that come up once you've identified what type of experience you want to deliver. And then by addressing them one by one and diving into them deeper, slowly things start to form around. And then we iterate on them until we are happy with the desired outcome.
Can you give us some examples of changes you might have made to the game based on player feedback?
Oh, yes. Because that happens all the time.
Okay, great.
Okay. I think one really good one that we did was a few years back, actually. I don't know if players remember the Build-A-Bot. Nowadays, it is the little candy necklaces at the start of the level. You can see where you are. So it's called the win streak feature. So it was like a little robot. And each time you would play a level, you would get a different part and it would help you play the game. So in essence, that didn't change. But one of the things that we noticed here was that players didn't understand that this robot was even connected to the level, and that when you play a level, that some of those boosters, like the color bomb, are actually being placed there because of that Build-A-Bot. We kind of completely did a revamp on how we want to position it. So to make it more clear, we positioned it like just before you play a level, you would see like a string of candies with bags on them, and you could see the rewards. So each time you would win a level, you would visually see which back you're on and which rewards you would get.
Yes.
So that was one thing. The second thing was that in the original feature, when you played the actual level, you wouldn't understand that because of the Build-A-Bot, you would get those things. So we created this direct relation that when you start a level, the bag opens and you can see the actual boosters being placed on the board, so the player recognizes these things. Because we heard that it wasn't clear what it was doing, and then suddenly players were like, oh, that's clear.
It's very clear now.
Yeah.
There are some player theories out there that you can probably find on the internet, as I can on the forums, that I would love to pick your brain on and see if these are true or not. If you start from the bottom, you're more likely to get better cascades and therefore more likely to win. True or false?
This one is partially true.
Okay.
Okay, so because the question was about cascading.
Yes.
So it is true that if you clear more stuff on the bottom, more candies will fall. So the likelihood of getting cascades is higher.
Yes.
However, the second part of the question was around clearing or winning the level.
Yes.
So cascades don't always, depending on the type of level, contribute to your goal. So you should always check on the top what is the goal of the level in order to win. You know, that's what we call the win condition.
Yes.
If it is a level where you need to clear blockers, therefore cascades will help, yes. If not, no.
Okay, and here's one more. It's always best to use your special candies, striped or wrapped, immediately. True or false?
That's a false.
Okay, tell me why.
I mean, you said always. Like I
Okay,
said,
that's true.
it's about like combining them. So
Okay.
it's about understanding the goal of the level, the strategy. Therefore, does it make sense to use them right away, or should I wait because I can, for example, use this stripe candy to hit a specific blocker that I
Right.
need in order to win the level?
Candy Crush players are always looking for hints, tips, and strategies to passing levels. So, from senior game designer perspective, what is your approach to passing a level in Candy Crush Saga?
There's 3 steps. So
Okay.
one, like I said, what's the objective of the level?
Yes.
Right. So before you start swiping, and this is the thing, right? Because intuitively you start a level and you just want to start matching,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
That makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
it feels good, and then but your moves are limited. So you want to make sure that they're quite efficient. In order to make them efficient, you have to figure out or understand what the goal is. Then I would say step 2 is analyze the board, right?
Okay.
Where are the win conditions on the board,
Yep.
right? Because sometimes it is about like collecting a little dragon. Like if there's, for example, 4 dragons that you need to collect and there's only 2 on the board, very often you need to collect them first in order to get the other ones. So your priority would be to collect those dragons. And the third one is then execution. So like how do you make sure that you efficiently clear those goals, that you get your dragons in the nest, or that you clear those blockers that are blocking you? One thing that it's a tip. I think it's clear for a lot of players, but there is no time limit in our levels. Sometimes I see people swipe very fast because they want to, continue. But sometimes it's okay to just look at the screen because, it's just the amount of moves that you have. You can take your time. Like maybe sometimes it's better to strategize which special should I create to help me faster instead of wasting 3 moves and then, you come a few moves short at the end.
Now, I know you have an extensive history doing level design. Is there a particular level that you designed that you can share with us today?
Yeah, I can show you one that I personally really like.
You have it right here. This is perfect.
So for the viewers at home, if you want to play this level, it's level 8262. So by the time, or when I worked on this level, we just released this new game mode called Rainbow Rapids. And as you can see here on the top, the goal is to collect 16 of these rainbow molds. So you see these blue forms and shapes on the map and or on the board. And when you remove the blockers around that, you will see that in the top corner of in the middle top, there is a rainbow stream, and it will flow around the board. And when it reaches the molds, it will clear the mold, and it will collect the objective that you need. So what I really like about this level is that it starts very dense, and as we call it, is excavation style. So it's like digging out the level. And as you remove more blockers, the map or the board gradually opens up. And when that happens, you can see the rainbow flow, and then it clears the board. So there's a big sense of progression here. And that's really, I really like that when a level starts pretty tight, but then opens up and you feel the progression and the sense of there. Also, why this feels really nice is there is some elements in here, like the bubblegum pop, which are like explosive and they remove layers. And there's even some hidden coconut wheels here. So by the time you reach them, it feels really good and satisfying to use them to clear all the blockers to get the rainbow rapids everywhere.
Yeah, it is super satisfying to feel that progress as you're going through the levels. So thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
All right, before you go, I know how much you guys love to connect with your fans and with communities and players. So I was wondering if you had any questions for our community who might be watching today.
Yes, definitely. Imagine you would be a game designer for a day, right? So you're in my shoes. You can design anything. It could be a feature. It could be an event. I would love to know, what are you missing in Candy, or what would you like to experience? If you had any idea, please let us know, because I'm going to read all the comments. I mean,
Yes.
I'll try to read all of them, but I'm going to read them. And if there's something that's really, really good in there, maybe we can do something with it, you know?
And maybe we'll see it in
Who
game.
knows? That would be cool.
Mick, it has been just awesome being able to chat with you today. So thank you for all the intel and the sneak peek behind what makes Candy Crush Saga work. Thank you.
Much welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. It has been our pleasure. Folks at home, keep sharing your thoughts on game or level design or really anything Candy Crush Saga related in the comments. You know, everyone loves reading your ideas and your feedback, so please keep that coming and stick with us because we've got more Crush and Tell coming your way. Thank you so much for joining us and keep crushing it.